Muse Daters. It's so great to be with you again. I'm here today with Allie Powers. She is a powerhouse, a rock star over in the Writing Gym VIP membership. And I just wanted to chat with her today a little bit about the program. So Allie, tell us what it is that you're writing and what your goal is over in the Writing Gym VIP.
I'm working on a fantasy novel. The working title is A Raven's Omen, and I don't have a lot of experience with fantasy, so it's been a bit of a struggle. I've been working on it for several years, but I really feel that the Writing Gym's kind of given me the push I needed to overcome a lot of those obstacles I was facing as far as, being afraid to write or anything like that. So the course is 8 weeks long. So since the average length of a novel is about 80,000 words, Andy and I set a tentative goal of 10,000 words a week, which I try to do about 2,000 words on 5 days of the week. And then I have 2 days to kind of, play around or be lazy because I have a 3-month-old at home. So there's some days I just don't, get around to it. But we've been working really hard on that, and it's really great having Andy to chat with every week to kind of check in and make sure I'm actually doing my writing and haven't slipped off.
A bit more about that and the accountability that the Writing Gym VIP membership offers you.
That really is one of the biggest things I've taken away from it is knowing that I'm going to talk to you every week and talk to Andy every week, and how embarrassing it would be if I sat down and said, oh yeah, I didn't get anything done this week, So it really does give you the drive to write those scenes that I've been putting off because I was, afraid they wouldn't be perfect, or I felt intimidated by them. You don't have time to do that when Andy's going to be calling you on Thursday night. So.
Right. Yeah. Andy's our personal trainer over in the Writing Gym. And so when you were working with her, Allie, you set your own goals. So you set a really ambitious goal for yourself. Tell us a little bit about what that looked like in your goal setting session.
So Andy asked me, what I wanted to do as far as goals. And when I told her, her eyes were about the size of saucers. I think she thought I was insane. So it was really gratifying the first week when I talked to her and got to tell her that, I absolutely smashed my goal. I wrote over 11,000 words instead of 10. So that was really fun. But it was good to have her to kind of, ground me and say, like the second week, I didn't quite meet my goal and I was feeling really down on myself. And she said, well, you set a really ambitious goal. Like, you've done great. You've still written over 1,000 words a day when you average it out. Like, you're doing really good. And that helped me, rather than kind of, feel bad about myself and just kind of give up on it for a while and mope, it was good to hear her say, you're still doing great. And one of the things she had me do in our first meeting was set up a personal mantra because Andy's very positive and very, she wants you to be in the right mindset. So I thought about it for a while, and the mantra I came up with was off of Dory the fish. Just keep writing, just keep writing.
Yeah, I love that. So, you've raised a lot of really good points there. And, one of them is that, through the Writing Gym, one of the things that writers are able to do is often exactly what happened to you, which is they exceed their goals. And also, that if they've got a rough week, they've got a lot going on, that they have the support and the resources in the personal training sessions to really help them get through that. And that's precisely what that is set up for, because we can get down on ourselves as writers, and we can get bogged down in fear or procrastination or, thinking that folding our socks is more appealing than going and doing the writing. So I'm really glad that that's worked for you. Allie, and that experience in the writing gym has worked. And another one of the really important things that you said is, you've got a 3-month at home, and I know that this is your first child from our sessions together. And a lot of people, will say to me, I'm just so busy. I've got work, I've got kids, I've got, whatever going on. And you are certainly living in that. So tell us about that decision of now was the time to write. The writing gym was the right fit, even though, you've got this newborn. I'm imagining you're not getting much sleep, sort of all of those things that come with parenting. Tell us about that decision. Allie's got some sound problems. She loses her microphone every now and then. There we go.
Okay, good. Yeah, so the decision to join the writing gym was definitely a joint one with my husband. And, we talked it over, and, I was trying to use the excuse of, we have a 3-month-old, we're not getting a lot of sleep, I'm not getting a lot of housework done. So, maybe I shouldn't be spending my time writing when I could be folding laundry or something like that. And he has always been my biggest supporter. And he said, you will continually make excuses for yourself. If it's not the fact that the baby's young, he said, it'll be the fact that she's starting preschool, or that she's walking now and she's getting into everything, or you just started a new job, or we're moving. And I mean, a lot of these things are happening for us right now. He's getting ready to get out of the Army. We're going to be moving back home. We have a lot going on, but there's always an excuse there. And I had to decide what was important to me. And he knew that, this novel is important. I've been working on it as long as we've been married. We've been married almost 5 years now. So he said, at some point you need to put the pedal to the metal and get it done. And the writing gym has really helped me do that in terms of okay. How about now? Okay.
So yeah. In terms of,
sorry, go ahead.
You said that the writing gym has really helped you in terms of, and that's where we lost the sound. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here. All right, so take 3.
Just that, I can't continually find excuses. There is a lot going on, but, I've learned to snatch writing time. It used to be I had to be sitting at my desk. I had to have an hour to write. I had to be perfectly scheduled. It doesn't work that way. Now I might get 20 minutes while the baby naps, or he might be willing to watch her for an hour so I can write, or when everybody else might go to bed and I'm up till midnight to get my 2,000 words in. I have to do what I have to do to get it done. And it's a little intimidating, but it's also really empowering when you realize that you have prioritized your writing and you're getting it done. It's a really good feeling.
Yeah, and I love that, how you're talking about there will always be something, the baby's walking now, or the baby's in school now, or whatever it is. So we just, those things happen. So, you talked a lot about the accountability portion in the writing gym, and that's certainly one part of what we do over there. But how has the other supports really helped you to get the writing done?
I want to make sure you can hear me before I talk. Okay. So the writing gym has a different module that you do every week. And the very first one that you do is about, making time for your writing and things like that. And then after that, you move into the actual craft. And, I've read tons of books, and I've, gone on Pinterest and everything looking for someone to just find a way to explain how to write without it being too technical or too confusing, or anything like in layman's terms. Because I didn't take creative writing classes or anything like that. I don't know about scene structure and things like that. And the modules are great because you really break things down to where somebody like me who, I don't know what an inciting event is, you explain it to. How about now? Yep, okay.
Nope.
Oh my goodness, this is insane.
Yeah, it keeps cutting out.
Yeah, you make it really easy to understand and easy to apply to what I'm writing. It's not really technical and really difficult. It's just very, and you tie it all in together. I try to do just my character arcs first, and then I would worry about plotting or whatever. And in one of the modules, you explained that it really doesn't work that way. You kind of have to work on everything all at once, but you don't get intimidating or scary. Like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to balance all this stuff at the same time? It really makes more sense once you watch the modules and kind of start working through everything.
Yeah, that's great. And then, one of the things, as you know, Allie, that's really important about the way that I work with writers is, knowledge is great, knowledge is power, it's really wonderful. But as you found out in your search on YouTube and Google and Pinterest and everything, you can gather all of this knowledge, read all of these books, and then be left with, okay, but now what? Like, how does this thing that this person is saying about character really apply to the thing that I'm writing, like my actual character? How do I make that happen for my actual character? And so, what you've been doing with us is the Monday sessions where we're really working on that application. So talk a little bit about that, how you were able to apply these concepts about craft to your actual manuscript and our work together.
Yeah, so I am definitely an okay. Okay. I'm an audio visual person, so it's great when we do the Monday sessions. I can see you, I can talk to you, and so on Mondays, what we do is, you ask me if I have any questions about the module that I've done the previous week, and I usually make a list as I go through the module, and then we can actually sit down and discuss my individual book. And I can say, oh, well, I know, for example, this last week I asked you about the antagonist. And I said, you mentioned a character arc for an antagonist. And I said, but here's what's going on in my novel. Do I need to do that? Or do you think it would work to have, a flat antagonist figure? And it was great to really have somebody who could help me kind of talk things through and figure out what I could take away from the modules and how it worked with what I was trying to write, and how sometimes it wouldn't work with what I was trying to write. And, when I had questions about, world building and fantasy and things like that, that you don't really have a lot of experience with, I know you went and actually asked somebody for me who could give me some good feedback and things like that. Like it's just really great to be able to apply it directly to what I'm working on instead of just watching a module and, like you said, saying, okay, I have all this knowledge, but what do I do with it?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's a good point too, that we didn't mention about the modules. Certainly I'm well connected in the literary world. And so, you were looking for a certain niched down subgenre of a subgenre within fantasy. And, that I knew some names, but not all of them. And so, I had a conversation with one of my author friends who writes in that genre, and he gave you some really great resources. So it's not just me and my team in there, but in the modules, you've got all kinds of experts who come in, and then, anything that I can't answer that you've got, I've got access to all of these people, so you can have those resources as well. So that's a really good point. So let's talk about creativity. How has the Writing Gym VIP membership really gotten you inspired and into a writing mode and really creating and producing?
For heaven's sake. I need to buy a new computer. This is ridiculous. So one of the things that we do in the Writing Gym that I think honestly is one of the most fun, even though it doesn't apply necessarily to my individual novel, is the writing salons, where you give us a prompt. It could be a picture, it could be a phrase, something like that. And we better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you were saying, we write to a prompt, and then, what happens, once you've gotten the writing done?
We actually read aloud. Okay, good. We actually read aloud what we've written, and every week, I think usually there's more people in the gym, so different people get spotlighted. I've kind of been lucky and unlucky at the same time that. Okay.
So tell us about just the effects of the feedback. So this is feedback that's based on my neuroscientific research that functions with the way that your brain is intended to work. So how does that feel? When you're walking away from the salon and you're thinking about your writing, how are you feeling at that point?
Okay. I always feel like this surge of confidence when I walk away, because it's always um, helpful advice. We don't just say, "Oh, I like what you did there." You explain why that worked well. You had great alliteration, or you used beautiful imagery. I am so sorry. You're having all these issues. Um, it's always positive feedback, and it's always really detailed feedback. I know you kind of jot down words and phrases as you're listening, and so you can actually give concrete examples of what you're saying. You did well, or and that always makes you feel really good when you walk away and you say, I had beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really grounded in the craft. Um, and, as I said, really based on the way that your brain is meant to function and create. So let's talk about this, Allie. If you're just chatting with one of your writer friends and they say, oh, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I want to finish this novel, but I can't figure out how. I want to publish. I can't figure out how. Why would you recommend the writing gym to that friend? I feel like everybody feels like I'm waving at them. I'm just telling Allie we can't hear her.
Okay. I would definitely recommend the writing gym because of not only the knowledge that is passed back and forth from all these experts and people who know more about writing certainly than I do, but it's also the support. It's you and Andy and everybody I've worked with in the writing gym are extremely supportive and friendly, and I don't ever feel intimidated. Um, um, you guys always have good advice that's specific to what I'm working on, and it's just great to know that if I have a question or I get stuck, there's always somebody that I can reach out to. You guys are always available through Facebook or email or anything like that, and I know that I'm going to get quality advice, not just my friend who says, "Oh, I really like this." Well, that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
The accountability of knowing that I'm going to meet with you guys, and I can't be screwing around. I got to be working on this novel.
Right. Yeah. That's really wonderful what you're saying.
But and no.
Hi everyone. Allie's microphone's broken.
Yeah, having the the writing salon to look forward to and the modules to work through. And, I take pages of notes when I go through all those things. And it really is a wonderful resource. And I know that once I finish this portion of actually churning out that first draft, that I always have the option of moving forward into or applying for your second program, the publishing workshop.
Yeah.
So that always motivates me too, to know that, my journey doesn't have to end with you as soon as I finish that first draft. I can continue getting that support that I need as I, actually try to get this novel published once it's written.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, any last words of wisdom to share here with the people in Write to Publish?
I just, if you have the opportunity to work with the writing gym, with Annalisa and Andy and all the great people there, take it. It's completely worth it. It's stressful because you're setting your goals and you're working hard, but it is so exhilarating to see the work actually being done and knowing that you have that support there to help you continue to get that work done.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Allie, for sharing your experience with the group. And, we'll post a link for people over in the video here so that they can apply to the writing gym if they would like to. And we'll continue to sing your praises, Allie, with the other members of the writing gym over in the group, because you guys are just doing amazing work over there. So thank you so much for being a part of the program, and thank you for sharing your experience with the people over here today.
Thank you, Annalisa. And I apologize about all the audio problems.
That's all right. It's always got to be something, right?
Right.
Okay, you have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.